For far too long, the people of the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, have been silenced under the suffocating weight of occupation, brutality, and official extortion. The regime in Yaoundé perfected the art of misinformation, staging parades of deception, propping up charades disguised as grassroots rejection of the Ambazonian liberation movement. We have seen over the years this farce play out in places like Bali, Pinyin, and other communities where regime lackeys orchestrated token protests against the restoration fighters of Ambazonia, parading them before the cameras to fool the international community into thinking the revolution, the struggle, the Ambazonian struggle is lost, that the people are no longer with it. But those days appear to be over. What happened in Fako, Moyoka precisely today, ladies and gentlemen, early this morning, wasn't choreographed by the regime. It wasn't a media stunt. It wasn't a protest against Ambazonian restoration fighters or freedom fighters. No, it was an organic grassroots uprising of a bitter, battered, and bruised people, an unarmed, peaceful population waving palm fronds and marching, not against their own liberation, but against the colonial oppressor. The protest was loud, clear, and focused. The Cameroon army must leave, they demanded. The streets of Moyoka bore witness to a historic moment, a moment that laid bare the true face of Cameroon's colonial rule in Ambazonia or the southern Cameroons. Hundreds of civilians, mostly farmers, rallied in peaceful defiance. Their placards weren't condemning Ambazonia restoration fighters. Their chants weren't against those who defend them. Instead, they carried their pain and trauma to the doorsteps of the colonial divisional officer for Fako, demanding an end to the harassment, the rapes, the extortions, and the torture they have endured under the boots of the invading and occupying Cameroon army. These are not isolated complaints. These are the cries of a people pushed to the brink. A resident recounted the daily humiliation they face, and I quote him, "When going to harvest food in the morning, you pay 1,000 francs. When coming back, another 1,000 francs is paid. If you bring red palm oil, you pay 3,000 francs to the army. A bunch of plantains, you pay based on the quantity. This is not law enforcement," he said. "This is highway robbery, institutionalized and sanctioned by the colonial regime in La République du Cameroun. And when the people can't pay, they are arrested. Women are raped. Men are beaten. Women are forced shaved by the military. A dehumanizing act of psychological warfare. These soldiers who claim to protect the people from rogue Ambazonian fighters or Atangenji fighters have become predators themselves. They don't protect the farmers, they feed on them. So the question must be asked and must be answered by those still sitting on the fence in Ambazonia and thinking that Ambazonia cannot win. Of course, we will win. And the question is, if the Cameroon army is here to protect, why do the people want them to go? The propaganda machine is crumbling. For years, The Biya regime has fed foreign diplomats and the international media a cocktail of lies. That the fighters are the problem. Ambazonia fighters, they have said all the time, are the problem. That the people want peace and that only Cameroon's army can deliver it. But the events in Moyoka strike a devastating blow to that false narrative. These farmers, these ordinary men and women, they are not calling for the departure of Ambazonian fighters. They are calling for the withdrawal of the colonial military in their lands and communities. It's a damning contradiction the regime can no longer hide. For all the so-called atrocities blamed on Amba fighters or Amba boys, the people have never risen in such coordinated fury against them. But against the Cameroon army, today they did. They did. And tomorrow, more communities will do just the same. Moyoka has exposed the reality the regime fears most, that the people are not fooled and that the people still believe in their freedom, that their allegiance lies with the dream of a free Ambazonia, not the boot-licking pretenders in La République du Cameroon's Yaoundé. The palm fronds they carried were not just symbols of peace. They were symbols of clarity, of courage, and of resistance. Moyoka has thrown down the gauntlet. The time for silence is over. Other towns and villages experiencing the same abuse, Ekona, Mamfe, Bafut, Wom, Ndop, Ndu, Batebo, Jakiri, you can name the rest, must now find their voice. If you are extorted at military checkpoints, if your women are molested and raped, your men tortured, your harvest looted, why are you silent? Why are you silent? The struggle for Ambazonia will not be won in whispers. It will be won when every community says enough is enough, just like Moyoka did today. The colonial deals, the military captains, the gendarmes, the regime spies, they all thrive on fear and apathy. But they crumble in the face of unified resistance. Do not let Moyoka stand alone. Let this fire spread. Let the voice of the people become a roaring storm that drowns out every lie Cameroon tells the world. Let every community become a front of resistance, a front of resistance, from Fako to Inkambe, to our brave fighters, restoration fighters on the ground. The time has come to recalibrate. The people have spoken. They say they are suffering. They are desperate. And they are looking to you, not just to defend them, but to act decisively. The Cameroon army is not invincible. Its strength lies only in their unchecked brutality. But when communities and fighters align, it has no place to hide. The Cameroon army has no place to hide. You must now coordinate your tactics, increase intelligence, and surgically dismantle the military presence in these harassed communities. Malende, Ekona, Balangi, Muyenge, you can name the rest. Every area where the regime preys on farmers must be liberated zone by zone. You must hit where it hurts them. Disrupt their checkpoints. If possible, set them on fire. Protect the women and make it known that the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, is not a hunting ground for colonial thugs. There can be no complacency. No fighter should rest while a farmer pays a bribe. to access their own farmland. If we are to restore dignity to our people, then every military checkpoint must be brought down or targeted or a target of conscience. To the diplomats, journalists, and policy analysts watching from afar, please, wake up, wake up. What happened in Moyoka is not an aberration. It is the truth Cameroon has tried desperately to conceal. For years, you've been spoon-fed images of supposed anti-Amba protests. But here, for the first time in years, the people spoke freely, and they pointed their fingers not at the liberation fighters, but at the colonizers. These protests should ring alarm bells in every embassy in La République du Cameroun and Foreign Affairs Office. It confirms what human rights reports have consistently stated, that the Cameroon military is committing widespread abuses against the civilian population in the southern Cameroons and Bazonia. That the state you are supporting, under the guise of territorial integrity is systematically dehumanizing a people fighting for their right to self-determination. Enough with the neutrality, sirs. Silence in the face of such crimes is complicity. The people of Ambazonia are bleeding, and you are watching with folded arms, sirs. You are guilty. You have blood in your hands too. Today, Moyoka made history, but the revolution cannot rest on the shoulders of one brave community alone. This must become a movement like we had in 2017, September 2017, talking about a wave of non-violent defiance followed by strategic defense. Cameroon's military cannot police an entire people that is determined to be free. Their forces are overstretched, underpaid, and increasingly demoralized. It is time we make their occupation untenable. To the people of the southern Cameroons and Bazonia, rise up like Moyoka did today. Reclaim your dignity, expose the oppressor, and to our restoration forces, please, organize, strategize, and neutralize the enemy where they prey on our people, on our women, on our farmers, on our men. Let the world know we are not turning against our liberators. We are rising against our jailers. And until Ambazonia is free, we will not be silent. Not today, not ever, never.